court is still in session. Puzzling Places, take the stand. This game made by realities.io is $19.99 on the PlayStation Store. And although it may be charming, it is still charged with 3 counts of fun gameplay, 5 counts of value, and a single count of simplicity. So the first sentence of 3 counts of fun gameplay is an intriguing one because now, jurors of the court, I didn't say exciting. I said fun. There is a difference there. Putting together 3D jigsaw puzzles may not seem like your idea of a fun time, but roll my socks up and smoke them in a blunt because holy crap, it's not bad. There is a wide variety of interesting puzzles from the Musk Observatory, back alley bodegas, haunted houses, and castles. The 3D puzzles make it really a blast to put together because slowly you just see something form from nothing. It's really challenging actually because some of the pieces are rotated, so you may look at them from where you are at this moment and not really understand where they go in the whole order of life and the order of the puzzle. And so some of the puzzles just require you even to look inside them. So for example, I put together a big shipping container, and on the outside it was fairly simple. It was a shipping container, but then there was another layer of puzzles on the inside of the shipping container. And so for that, I had to either stick my head into the shipping container and work around, or they also have a tool that allows you to do that, but it's much more challenging. It's something I can't do in real life, or at least it would be much, much harder to do. So the relaxing nature of putting all these puzzles together, the serene atmosphere, and just the enjoyment of slowly seeing your creation come together is way more fun than it may sound. And you're going to have to trust me. And if you have doubts, there is a free trial available on the PlayStation Store to give it a play. And because of that, on 3 counts of fun gameplay, I find you, Puzzling Places, guilty.
Okay, Adam. So my big question with this is I'm a guy who I can enjoy some puzzles, but for the most part, I don't get it. When you're done with a puzzle, you just tear it down. Why would you do it again? As somebody who doesn't find themselves particularly fond of puzzles, I don't hate them. I do them sometimes. Is there anything in Puzzling Places, doing a puzzle in VR, that might make it more enjoyable for me?
I just think the fact that you can get up and walk around a puzzle, you can manipulate the puzzle in free space. And it's just kind of really cool to, in 3D, put this thing together. Like, for example, there are a lot of like the Musk Observatory. There's a lot that are like scientific-y that I thought of you the whole time I was doing the Musk Observatory because it's so freaking cool that like I am in the observatory kind of putting together the observatory. And then I made sure the last piece I put in was the telescope. It was just really friggin' neat, man. So it's almost meditative. It's relaxing. It is fun because the next thing I'll get to, the way they use eye tracking and use some of the rumble and not necessarily haptic feedback, but it adds a little with every piece. There's like a sense of accomplishment, and then you just blow when you put the final piece in. It's pretty cool. And like I said, there's a free trial. It takes about 20 minutes. No reason for you not to try the free trial and then make your decision based on that.
Yeah, fair enough. What's your next charge?
So on 5 counts of value, I want to talk about entertainment time versus price. So listen, you could pay $40 for 3 hours of Switchback VR, or you can pay $20 and take 3 hours to put together a single puzzle, assuming that, you choose the 400 or 1,000 piece option. So seriously, this game contains a ton of puzzles for the $20 that you're getting, and each one is customizable. So if you want a 25-piece puzzle, a 50, 100, 200, 400, or 1,000-piece variation of that puzzle, you can have it. So I noticed that a 50-piece puzzle takes about 20 to 30 minutes to do. A 100-piece took me about an hour, and I haven't done anything above the 100 yet. But even if you only did the 50-piece puzzles, for all 26 available puzzles that you get with purchasing the game, that is over 8.5 hours of puzzles and gameplay you are getting bare minimum, assuming that you don't do the puzzles that are more pieces and you don't redo any of the puzzles. Now, the one complaint I may have here is that you do get those initial 26 puzzles, but then there are monthly puzzle packs, but you have to pay for them. So rather than getting free puzzles every update once in a while, it's like, oh, you did your puzzles, now you got to pay to get more puzzles. But then when I say it out loud, I kind of feel like a bum for saying that. Like, it's a good business model, and I got a lot of time out of that $20. And they're putting in the time to develop these new puzzles and the ideas, and they have music associated with them, and it's not just like they're slapping it on there. So it's probably not that bad, but I don't know. Paying $5 for an additional puzzle won't kill me. So really, on the count of value, Puzzling Places, I find you guilty.
Adam, as a person who just said they didn't like Demio for taking 3 hours to complete a single session, you are now promoting Puzzling Places because it is a game that takes 3 hours to complete a single puzzle. How do you square that in your mind?
I square it because putting the puzzle together, one, is more rewarding, and two, more engaging. Whereas Demio, you moved your pieces and then you kind of just sat there for a while. And especially if you're playing multiplayer, you move and then you have 3 other people who have to move, and then you have the monsters that have to move. It's like borderline being in Firewall's lobby waiting for a new game. It's awful. And if you're playing by yourself, obviously you can constantly move, but it's just not as much fun. Whereas when you are putting the puzzle together, you're always focusing. And again, you have that bit of relaxation. You're not trying to think your way through middling scenarios. You're not trying to have conversation with the partner you just met online so you can come up with a strategy. It's just you and the puzzle, man. It's engaging. Just seeing that form out of a bunch of little pieces that surround you is real neat. I'm telling you, it's awesome.
There is nothing less engaging than putting a piece down and then doing nothing afterwards. And that is literally what putting together a puzzle is. You find a piece, you place it, and it's done. It's not
then
being
you move
moved.
to the next piece. And you know what? And that's the beautiful segue to my next point, Alex. Thank you. On the single count of simplicity, I understand what you're saying. And I understand that the persecution here argues that the game is too simple, that the gameplay may be boring and uninteresting. But I would admit, on the surface, this game is simple. Putting a jigsaw puzzle together is maybe a rather brain dead activity, but the developers made doing the simple things fun in virtual reality. For example, you have this rumble and a nice clicking effect when you put 2 pieces together. You can use eye tracking to select the piece that you want. Being able to get up and walk around the puzzle and grab each piece in the puzzle and rotate it all of that is exceedingly satisfying and rewarding. And after so many pieces, you hear what they call premium sounds, like trains in the background, spooky sound effects, or Japanese tunes. This gives you an additional reward for progressing. And when you get to the last piece of the puzzle, there are these special sound effects that come into play. And as you place that puppy into the final slot, you see an array of fireworks splash across the backdrop. Sometimes complexity, Alex, isn't always better. Sometimes the best games are simple. They nail the things that make simple great. Puzzling Places may not be as complex as its puzzles, but it nails what it does and it makes it unique and fun to play. And because of that, on the single count of simplicity done well, I find you guilty.
So all you've told me is that the game is very simple and it takes a very long time.
It doesn't have to. It could be 20 minutes, whatever you want.
And it's the same thing over and over again. Adam, I need something to push me over the top, to even begin to spend my time with a free demo where I'm putting together puzzle pieces. You're not the only person who loves this game. Almost everybody I know who's played this game has enjoyed it. but I still don't know why. And I'm afraid that if I get to the end of the demo, I'm going to say that's 20 minutes that I could have been doing any other game. That's a handful of races I could have done in Gran Turismo. That is, a handful of levels I could have gone through in Res. That is 10% of an encounter in Demio I could have enjoyed. Why? Why is my big question. Maybe you don't have an answer for it. That's okay. Give us your final verdict.
The thing is, I'm telling you, man, it is rewarding and it just feels so right. I know there are games, for example, Vertigo Home, that that game, Vertigo Home, is just bad, but you like it because it's simple. You don't have to overly think and it just feels right. Stunt Kite Master, another game that most people argue is bad, but you like it. It's simple. You're just sitting there watching the flight the kite in the air. It feels good. They relay something. It's almost meditative to you. It's fun. That's the exact same way this game is, but it's actually not bad. It's actually a good game that does the simple things well. I'm begging you, just try the trial. Get the 20 minutes in, build something, make use of your time, and then leave. You're going to be more refreshed leaving the game than when you entered. And that does come to my final verdict. The final verdict of whether Puzzling Places is a PSVR 2 game worthy of your time, worthy of your attention and your money. I find you 100% guilty.